Hello and welcome to Club 100's race day coverage from round 4 of our Sprints Championship at the picturesque Whilton Karting Circuit in Northamptonshire. This is the fourth and final instalment and features our other entry-level class, the Lightweight Championship. For all its friendly competition, it has the youngest average age, so it's one of the most fiercely competitive and probably the most open championship this season. The event format is a 6-minute time practice and qualifying session affording some familiarisation with the track. The top 20 qualifiers proceed to the first pre-A final. The remaining 30 drivers line up in the pre-B final. From there, the top 4 will be promoted to the back of the A final, while the remainder get one last chance, or rather 2 remaining places on the A final grid, from finishing first and second in the B final. Fastest lap times in the pre-finals determines the grid for the main finals, and the results from both the pre-final and final count towards the championship. Best 16 results from the 11-round season determines the outright lightweight champion. And in terms of the championship, after 3 rounds, Adam White, on the back of trophy final wins at Ella Park and last time out Red Lodge, leads by 26 points from Sean Briley. Tom King is a further 2 points back. He won both finals at the opening round at Bookmore Park. 2nd through to 7th are covered by just 15 points. And lurking at the bottom of the top 20 are Alexander Reddy, Daniel Healy and Tom Powell. They've all missed a round, but will come into play with drop scores later in the year. Qualifying has been tight and not all the fancied runners have made it directly to the pre-A. In pole position, Daniel Healy, on the front row with him Harry Neal, Jack Richards and Alexander Reddy on row 2. Tom Powell and Andrew Green on row 3. Dimitri and Greg Aaron on row 4. Lex Wakeman and Adrian Richardson make up the top 10. It's 20 on the grid plus 4 from the pre-B final. The pace car is about to pull off. Control will pass to Daniel Healy. Pole is on the left here as we race towards the line, right as they come towards us, as it's a left-hander, the first part of the turn 1 complex. Healy got the whole shot and he leads from Harry Neal. Jack Richards in 3rd, on board with Tom King. King started 11th on the grid, trying to make progress up the Christmas corner, and Healy's got a couple of kart lengths up to Christmas. King getting a little bit of contact from Greg Aaron. Andrew Green on the grass, on the back of Harry Neal and off the circuit, manages to get it back on. An eventful start for Andrew Green. King looking for a way by as they go across. Greg Aaron ahead of him, that's Lex Wakeman to his inside. It's frantic stuff here down at Chapman's. Wakeman runs Greg Aaron out wide and that helps Tom King get through. He's up to 8th place. Difficult to call it this early. Richardson to the inside of Greg Aaron to go 9th. Green coming back through the field as well. Pushes Greg Aaron out wide. Frankie Hedges is in the mix as well in car number 6. Side by side through the last corner. That used to always be very dangerous and very iffy. The concrete has made it a little bit safer, but that's just making the corner quicker. So there's still risk involved. Luke Hornsby in his distinctive helmet. We've all seen pictures of a new race suit coming for Clay. Adam White, the championship leader, going round the outside of kart 29. That's Ben Atkinson in 17th place. He's out of the pre-B final, so good progress made there. But Nick Hoyle's down the inside of Ashby, forcing a pass on Atkinson. Fortunately, the road's going to go back in his favour into Parker. Further forward, Tom King still looking at the back of Lex Wakeman, trying to close in on Lex and Dimitri. Jack Richards holding off Tom Powell there, nearly put him on the grass going into the boot section. The field pretty much in one long line. Hornsby in kart number 3. Trying to close on White. Briley also out of the pre-B final ahead. Everyone pretty much flat out in the pre-A final. James Leuchford runs wide, waving his arms around at kart 58, which is Pedro Ferreira. Not sure why. He's lost out to James Monroe though. Dimitri under pressure from Wakeman down into Ashby. Tom King looking to get on his bumper. Dimitri forced to go narrow into Parker. Now there's a gap down the inside if Lex Wakeman wants to take it into Chapman's, but it's so narrow, it's a difficult pass to pull off. And I am going to make my apologies now to Dimitri for not pronouncing his surname. It's the first surname I've never attempted. I'll have to hear it from him himself to get it in my brain. So Lex Wakeman holding off Tom King. Dimitri on the outside and on the grass. Well, to be fair, I'm not sure Tom King knew he was there. It wasn't the best place to put a kart, that's for sure. 2 wide's bad enough going into turn 1. 3 wide is just bonkers. So King and Wakeman fighting it out for 7th place. Actually 6th place now that they're ahead of Dimitri. Frankie Hedges in the mix there. Adrian Richardson, 35, Greg Aaron. This is not a pack I'd really want to be in. And Richardson's on the grass. Well, it goes without saying that they're losing time to Jack Richards and Tom Powell ahead. And Tom Powell's got ahead of Jack Richards for 4th place. Andrew Green sticks his nose in and passes Dimitri, and on the crisscross, car 25, Tom Lee could go through as well. Well, Dimitri getting a right slapping around here in this pack. And behind this group, battle for 14th place, Sam Luscombe ahead of Luke Hornsby, Sean Brierley, Freddie Fincham, Ben Atkinson, Nick Hoyle trying to get on this group as well. Hornsby to the inside up to Christmas on Sam Luscombe, who turns in. Side by side through the kink. This can only go one way, and Hornsby's been pushed out on the grass. He's spun back on the circuit, and I think he nearly collected Ben Atkinson. That could have been nasty. They've got away with it. So it's Healy. We've got 10 kart lengths on Alexander Reddy. Gap then to Harry Neal. Then there's the gap to the battle for 4th place, which is still raging on. Tom Powell and Jack Richards. Andrew Green here in 10th place ahead of Tom Lee. And Dimitri's coming under pressure from Adrian Richardson. Looking to set him up for Christmas. Dimitri makes a good run through the turn 1 complex. What a move there from James Lodgeford up the inside of Pedro Ferreira into turn 1. That is a difficult move to pull off. So Richards sat on the back of Tom Powell. Looks to the inside into Parker. Powell's not having that, but the move could be on down into Chapman's. He does. Lets the brake go, runs in deep. He'll be slow for the corner. This battle's not over yet. He'll have to get into the boot section to make the position his, and he's done it. So Jack Richards back in 4th place. The leading trio are well clear. Look at the gap that they've got. That's the best part of 4 seconds. Richards under pressure from Tom Powell. They're about on even pace. And this is a personal battle because they'll never catch the leading trio, who are in the 53s, unlike Richards, who's in the mid-54s. Tom King could close in. So your race leader, Dan Healy, it's got to be called a dominant performance. He had the pole position and he has converted it so far. Reddy only on a similar pace. And remember, they've got to be setting fast laps here as well. That sets the grid for the trophy final. So it's just not a case of controlling the lead, it's going for a time as well for Dan Healy. And it applies to everybody in this grid. There's another final to come, and grid positions for that are important. Dimitri trying to come back at Adrian Richardson into turn 1. Brave stuff. Always a deep breath going into turn 1 side by side. Probably one of the fastest corner complexes in the UK. Always very satisfying, I must say. I do remember it even now. So Lex Wakeman ahead of Frankie Hedges. Greg Aaron fight for 7th place. Tom King has escaped a few kart lengths. I'm sure Lex would like to do the same. Takes a look over his shoulder at Frankie. I think Frankie could go by if opportunity presents itself. Richards under pressure from Powell. And look behind, Tom King is closing in. He's 2.3 of a lap faster than the 2 drivers ahead of him. Especially now they're beginning to fight. Richard shows Tom Powell the outside. It's a clever device to keep Tom Powell behind him, especially now that it's dropped Tom King on his bumper. Side by side into Ashby. And side by side off it on the crisscross. Powell is on the wrong side. This side is good for Tom King going in. So crisscross down into Chapman's, and this time Tom Powell will be through. And I hope Jack Richards is making the most of this. As they dice side by side, he's got a chance to pull away and confirm 4th place at the finish. And King's trying again. Out of the boot section, and he's through. But he has to square off the end of the corner, so Tom Powell will be on his bumper. Into turn 1 with a perfect position to run up to Christmas corner. So expect Tom King to go narrow. He's looking for Powell. But Powell's not close enough, and he's prepared to follow. And look, Wakeman, Hedges, Aaron and Green are towed into the fight. And Powell's got to be careful here. He could easily lose the bumper of Tom King. Wakeman moving in, preparing to strike down at Chapman's, I fear. Further behind, Andrew Green to the inside of Greg Aaron. Dives through, then runs him out wide. Puts a hand out to wave him back through, but I don't think he pulls out of the throttle. And I think the clerk of the course will be wise to that old trick. And he may indeed have a penalty. So Richards in 4th. Tom King, Tom Powell, Lex Wakeman, Frankie Hedges. A gap now where Greg Aaron and Andrew Green were. Hedges looking inside at Christmas, not close enough. And Wakeman has moved right onto the bumper of Tom King. Wakeman's got to be thinking of trying to put a pass in here. Down at Ashby, not close enough. Bit of a love tap there, I think, from Wakeman. Pushes Powell out wide. It's game on, definitely. We're into the closing stages now. Things tend to get a little bit more robust towards the end. Oh! Powell tried to squeeze him on the apex, and it succeeded in holding him off. But Frankie Hedges has got to run around the outside. 3 wide in the boot section, and Wakeman goes through. Hedges on the grass. Where's Hedges coming back on? All his momentum has been lost. Andrew Green has gone through. Greg Aaron, Adrian Richardson. A lot of ground lost for Hedges. He's upset. You can see him waving at the pit lane. He's got a problem now with Dimitri, and Kart 25 Tom Lee on his bumper. Back on board with King, and he is closing in on Jack Richards now. So Richards' effort to push Tom Powell back into Tom King, well, it worked, but he wasn't particularly quick, and he has been run down by Tom King. Andrew Green from a long way back takes out Wakeman, puts Tom Powell on the grass. And if there's a totting up process, that could be an exclusion of penalties. I think that's the collective now. Tom King looking to find a way past Jack Richards for 4th. And I think he's going to be through even before they get in the boot section. Yes, he is. He goes a long way in, though. Narrow across the toe. A chance for the crisscross for Jack Richards into the last corner. Can't get it done. And look, you cannot see 3rd place ahead of Tom King. Daniel Healy leads by 1.2 seconds from Alexander Reddy. A further 1.5 seconds behind is Harry Neal. He is a massive 6 seconds up the road from this battle for 4th place between Tom King and Jack Richards. Adrian Richardson to the inside of Andrew Green at Christmas. Green tries to make it difficult and succeeds. He keeps the spot. Andrew Green in 7th place, but I suspect he has been excluded from this result due to the penalties he's collected. Richardson may not know that though, and he may want to go through, because if he sits there behind Andrew Green, he risks being overtaken by Frankie Hedges. There's the leader, Alexander Reddy, Harry Neal, going into turn 1. Behind, we'll have to wait. Hornsby's been off the road. Here is the 4th place of Tom King. The final lap board is out. 12-minute finals, good for 14 laps. Tom King a little bit crossed up there on the exit. He's leaning on it as hard as he dare into Christmas. Good line through there. I think he'll be safe. So coming round and down to Chapman's is Daniel Healy. He has dominated this final. I'm sorry we haven't shown him, but there's not a lot to say when you're out front. So it's Daniel Healy coming round to win the pre-final at Whilton Mill. Into the last corner. The winning margin will be 1.8 seconds clear of Alexander Reddy and Harry Neal. And we'll have to wait a long time for 4th place. Tom King is 8.6 seconds behind. So on to the last final of the day. Everybody that matters is pretty much in this final. In pole position though is Harry Neal. He set the fastest lap in the pre-A final, ahead of Dan Healy. Alexander Reddy, Adrian Richardson on row 2. Sean Brierley's fast lap in the B final puts him on the third row with Tom King, Oliver Knighton and Freddie Fincham on row 4. Adam White, the championship leader, on row 5 with Andrew Green. 26 karts on the grid then for the last race of the day. Harry Neal controls the pace. He's hanging back. He's trying to make Dan Healy wait. Now, once he's dropped back to him, I'm sure he'll drop the hammer. He's going for it now. You can see the blue smoke as we pick up the revs. Red light goes green. Healy has got the whole shot and he's into turn 1 with Reddy on his bumper. Dan Healy down to third. Brierley trying to go round the outside of Dan Healy. That was optimistic. And he's fallen back into the pack on board with Wakeman. That's Green on our right. He's just trying to find a safe line into Christmas Corner. And that seems to be behind Andrew Green. Hedges has gone through in the blue. Now down to Ashby. Tom King looking down the inside of Freddie Fincham. He's gone through. Fincham's turned in on him and turned him around. And there was more contact behind between Wakeman and Andrew Green. But Tom King has left at Ashby. On board with Adrian Richardson. Sean Brierley in 4th place. Ahead, Dan Healy looking at the back of Alexander Reddy and Harry Neal. Across the toe of the boot, these three at the front seem fairly even on pace. Down the inside of the last corner would have been optimistic for Adrian Richardson. He's prepared to follow. We move on to lap 2. It's a 14-lap final, 12 minutes of racing. And when you do the sums based on a 53-second lap, you come out with 14 laps. Up to Christmas Corner. Healy is closed in to the bumper of Reddy. Almost close enough to read what's written on the back in what looks like black felt tip pen. Perhaps it's a signature. You see the luckless Tom King parked at the side of the road. Down into Chapman's and Reddy makes a mistake and that puts Dan Healy beside him. Healy's not ready to put the pass in though. Didn't quite work for him, so he gets back in line. Brierley under pressure from Richardson. Across the toe of the boot. And Alexander Reddy's looking down the inside of Harry Neal into the last corner there up front. Now around the outside into turn 1, surely not. Richardson's prepared to fight it out with Sean Brierley, and he goes through. Well, Sean Brierley must have taken a deep breath there on the exit. He used all the concrete and managed to keep it off the grass. He's lost out to Richardson and Oliver Knighton, and now has Tom Powell on his bumper. The leading trio are getting away, of course. That's probably what prompted Richardson to risk going side by side with Sean Brierley. Conscious of not losing touch, well, I'm afraid he has. But it's Neal under pressure from Reddy and Healy. And Neal takes a look over his shoulder, very narrow already. And Alexander Reddy wants to be by. I don't think Neal's going to hold him. The crisscross perhaps seen in the last corner. He practiced it a lap before. This time he executes it. Alexander Reddy hits the front. Dan Healy side by side with Harry Neal into turn 1. And Dan Healy lifts, but he'll have the run here out of the turn 1 complex. Neal takes a look. Is Healy close enough? He goes to cover. That puts him off. But for how long? And how long can Dan Healy wait? Because Alexander Reddy's looking very racy in this final. Lex Wakeman has caught up with Adam White, looking to the inside at Ashby. It's not on. Tom Powell ahead of us. Sean Brierley and Oliver Knighton. And to be honest, the top 3 are not getting away. Adrian Richardson has closed in on Dan Healy. Effectively, the top 9 are in a long line. And here they come. Around the toe of the boot. In fact, it's longer than 9th place. It goes all the way back to Greg Aaron in 12th. Wakeman trying to find a way past Adam White. Can't get it done. He's got Richards on the outside. Oh no, he's got Andrew Green up the inside into turn 1. 3 wide does not work. Someone must go off. Greg Aaron pushes Jack Richards into Wakeman. Andrew Green still running, but Wakeman is out of this final. You just do not go 3 wide into turn 1 at Whilton Mill. It is just fatal mistake. Out front, Alexander Reddy's got a couple of car lengths on Harry Neal. Harry Neal sliding off that corner. Defensive, looking down the inside of Alexander Reddy, but he's just going defensive to hold off Dan Healy. Neal is just trying to hang in the slipstream and be towed along by Alexander Reddy, but he seems to be slow in the boot section, and Dan Healy's going to get a run inside of the last corner. Neal gives him some room, shows him the outside, Too wide into turn one. There's a yellow flag out there. Oh, who's been spat out the side? Frankie Hedges has met the tyre barrier and kissed the camera. Richardson looking to the inside of Dan Healy, who goes narrow. He doesn't want to pass Harry Neal. He just wants to hold off Richardson, and he's managed to do it. Through Inkerman's flat, now braking hard at Ashby. Try not to go too far in. It's a lot quicker this corner than it used to be. All that concrete runoff has become part of the track. It's not strictly correct. It's between the white lines, but no one's calling penalties for using that concrete runoff. Greg Aaron on the bumper of Adam White, and we're going to have to reset this field with the absence of Lex Workman. We're coming round to finish lap 6. Alexander Reddy leads by 0.8 of a second ahead of Harry Neal. Dan Healy is the same margin behind in third. Adrian Richardson still in this fight for the win. In fourth place, Oliver Knighton, Tom Powell, Sean Briley on board with Healy up to Christmas corner. And Harry Neal appears to have got his second win and pulled out a kart length or two, although he missed his apex there into Christmas. He's compromised through the top of the circuit, and this could be Dan Healy's chance down into Ashby. Forced to go very narrow though by Neal, and this could be a chance for Adrian Richardson. He's going to have to tip in over the top into Parker, and he's done it. And Adrian Richardson moves through to second place. So it's all to do again for Dan Healy, still in third place. Neal on his bumper. There must be a yellow flag out in the boot section. Adam White is holding off Greg Aaron, Jack Richards, Andrew Green. And we come round, we're through half distance. There are 7 laps left in this lightweight A final at Wilton Mill. Alexander Reddy's lead is 1.5 seconds, but it's on Adrian Richardson now. Dan Healy looking for a way by. Adam White under pressure here in 8th place from Greg Aaron, Jack Richards and Andrew Green. And it's definitely damage limitation for Adam White. He's not really been at the races, pardon the pun, at Wilton Mill, the championship leader. Just trying to manage this one to the finish, hoping to have a better run, I'm sure, at Clay Pigeon, get back to winning ways. And I'm not sure I'd want Greg Aaron on my bumper. Down the inside, Frankie Hedges is a lap down, getting out the way of Ben Atkinson in 13th. Dan Healy coming back to Adrian Richardson, looking for a way by into turn 1. That's a good line from Dan Healy. Going to use a bit of concrete on the exit. He might have a shot up at Christmas. Oh, Andrew Green coming in late and hard on the second apex on Jack Richards. He moves into the top 10, but Jack Richards is coming straight back at him over Christmas corner. Forcing a pass and putting Andrew Green on the grass. Where's he coming back on? More contact with Richards. Tom Lee will look to go by. Healy on the bumper of Adrian Richardson. Down the inside, late and hard. Can he do it? He gives Richardson a bit of room. He's got the high ground, 3 wide with Harry Neal. I think there's a yellow flag out. Somebody pointed to the right there. Well, Richardson's lost out to Dan Healy. Harry Neal, Oliver Knighton. I think that's a shake of the head there. I think he's not too happy about the way they got by. Out of turn 1, he's got the run on Knighton. Is he going to throw it up the inside? Come on. Not quite there. Knighton runs in deep, but a good fast line. Absolute limit there from Knighton, maximising the corner. Down into Ashby. Neal takes a look. Dan Healy in second place. Well, we're moving into the final third of this A final. You wouldn't know it, but Alexander Reddy has slipped away quietly to 1.7 seconds ahead of Dan Healy. Knighton under pressure from Richardson, trying to stick his nose in. Opportunity for Tom Powell. And it is indeed an opportunist move from Tom Powell. He's going to demote Adrian Richardson because there's nothing you can do on the outside in the last corner, apart from perhaps visit the tyre barrier. Sean Briley looking to go through as well, and I think he's got the run. Richardson will be defensive up to Christmas corner. You can see how that's done. Briley is held. So Sean Briley in 7th place. Tom Powell now up to 5th. Can he do anything about Oliver Knighton in 4th place? It looks as though Dan Healy and Harry Neal are going to slip away and sort out the podium positions between them. Adam White continues to have Greg Aaron on his bumper in a fight for 8th place. This group is 7 seconds behind the leader, and it's White, Aaron, Richards, Andrew Green, Tom Lee, Ben Atkinson. The leading pack go through, and then we wait for Adam White. He's missed the bus, as it were, into turn 1 and out. Running uphill. Is this an opportunity for Greg Aaron? Adam White shows him the outside. Looks to the inside into Christmas. Too late, too far back. And we move back to the front group. Richardson looking for a way by, trying to get that spot back from Tom Powell. Greg Aaron forced to cover off Jack Richards. Andrew Green, Tom Lee, Sam Luscombe, Dimitri, Ben Atkinson, Adam White struggling here. Again, having to show the outside to Greg Aaron. I'm not sure how long that'll wait. Oh, and Greg Aaron runs him out wide. And through goes Andrew Green. Now, was that clean? Jack Richards has gone through as well. Tom Lee, work to do for Adam White. Bad day at the office. Tom Powell dissuades Adrian Richardson from lunging up the inside. Only just though, in a fight for 5th place. 4th place if you include Oliver Knighton. Good run from Oliver. He started in 9th place and he's currently running what looks to be 4th place at the finish. All being well. Your race leader, Alexander Reddy, still pushing hard. Dan Healy in 2nd. Clear of Harry Neal now. And could Oliver Knighton run down Harry Neal before the finish? To get on the podium, Greg Aaron now has to find a way past Andrew Green. Jack Richards takes a look over his shoulder as he move on to the last lap. Now, is he settling? No, what's going on there? Is there some kind of penalty, or they're just upset due to the fact that they've seen the final lap board and nothing's been called? Certainly, I think that's the case for Adam White. Well, we're just over half a lap from the finish. We can call it now, certainly for the winner. It's going to be Alexander Reddy, 1.6 seconds clear of Dan Healy. And I think he's got 2nd place in the bag. It's just a question of whether or not 3rd place is on for Harry Neal, and I think it is. Knighton has missed his apex at Chapman's. There must be a yellow flag out. Yes, indeed there is. So out of the last corner, Alexander Reddy staking a claim to be the champion this year. If he gets the chance, he missed 1 round. That's the only reason why he's not top of the pile. He wins ahead of Dan Healy and Harry Neal.
In the lightweight class are as follows. Finishing in 3rd place, driver number 19, Harry Neal. Runner-up today, driver number 30, Daniel Healy. But congratulations, we have seen this driver on the podium before, but never on this top step. So well done indeed. It's his first time on the top step. Congratulations, winning round 4 in the lightweight class, driver number 69, Alexander Reddy. Well done, Alex. Well done, mate. That's yours. Don't forget your Vroom magazine. Fantastic. Another round of applause for our lightweights, please.